All right. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. Let's see. Is this working? Is there echo? This is a whole new setup, a new screen. Somebody in the chat, please let me know.
Please.
Yeah.
What you drinking?
I am drinking some bourbon.
I have a lime bubbly with some cucumber slices in it.
Nice.
It's refreshing.
No echo. Thank you. And look, the chat shows up on the little thingy. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Here, I'm going to make sure this posted in our link. So, Julie, what are we doing today?
Today, I didn't feel like painting, so I wanted to just talk about some of our favorite characters that we've played. Not in necessarily a particular order. I think we've got a top 5, and just wanted to talk about kind of things we loved about playing these characters and some of the different classes that we've played, and races, in fact. So just a little bit about what goes into our character builds and kind of those memorable moments. So we did a little bit of that in Eric's video about why stats don't matter, which I very much agree with, especially as a person who doesn't look at stats. That's somebody else's responsibility in our household. So I like to just kind of create a character based on someone who's different from something I've done before, fun to play, something that I can do, so I don't try to do very many accents because that's not my strength at all. And yeah, that's kind of the foundation where I come from when I'm building a character is what does the party need? How can I be useful class-wise? Then what would be fun to play race-wise? I've never played a human before because I'm one of those every day. I don't find it all that interesting. Yeah, that's kind of my philosophy, I guess.
The triathlete, hello. Clint,
Hi.
hello. Tim, hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining.
Sorry you have to work today.
I only play humans.
Good for you.
Agreed. The Swizzle.
Welcome.
You know who the Swizzle is?
I don't.
I'm sassy.
Oh, hi.
This is Britt. Yeah.
Hi.
Like the little chat thing's too small. I need to fix that.
It is little.
This is my first time trying Streamlabs OBS instead of regular OBS. So thanks. We'll get that fixed.
Appreciate it.
All right. So this is my embarrassing account from high school, which still has like 900 subscribers for some reason.
Good for you.
I don't know why.
Nothing embarrassing about it. I just didn't know what it was.
The triathlete, yes. We are married. It's very exciting.
Thrilling.
Yeah, so like Julie said, it's the end of the year. We thought we'd do something a little different. So we're going to talk a little bit about our favorite characters, and we'd love to hear some of your most memorable characters. Put it down in the chat, obviously, I guess, or tweet me at FryMinis. I guess that'd be cool too.
Sure.
But yeah, this is Game On. Oh, hey, Game On. Hi. He's on the Discord.
Oh, cool. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think, Julie, you're going to start us off with your favorite character.
Sure.
And your kind of most iconic character, if I'm being honest.
It is iconic. The first character... So Eric and I started playing D&D a couple years ago. I had played years ago in high school, but we started like going to a game store and actually playing Adventurers League in 2018, maybe.
Oh my God, 17?
I don't know.
Yeah, 17.
So the first campaign character that I played was Tomfa Rainclouds, who is a half-orc Tempest cleric. She took 3 levels of fighter and 10 levels of cleric. I have her character sheet over here so I can remember. I haven't played her in years, but she's one of my favorites. First because, you know, the first character that you really play in Adventurers League or that you play over several sessions, we did Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah.
Well, we actually started with Rise of Tiamat.
Oh.
Because our DM had the wrong book.
These things happen.
Thanks, Gabe.
Still had a good time.
Yeah.
Still the most memorable character. So I loved playing Tomfa because she was a half-orc. She was very committed to Talos, her deity person. And I really got to flavor her around rain, clouds, thunder. She took thunderclap, thundercloud. I think we flavored some of her other spells to be rain-oriented, or whenever there was an option for damage, she leaned toward lightning if you had to pick it before you took the feat or whatever it was.
Yeah, your shield, when you cast shield, it was like a...
Oh, yeah. It was like a thunder kind of blast. So yeah, I just really loved playing her. Some of her quirks were she talked like Batman, like Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight. I won't do it.
Oh, come on. I'm going to do my voices. Do a little bit. Do one line. You know the line you're going to say.
Most often what she said was just, swear to me! Which was pretty cool. And then I also wrote down some other like Batmanisms to have in like the notes app on my phone so that I could bring those up because nobody remembers anything other than swear to me.
And the necklace, as Britt points out.
Yes. So she talked like Batman, so I rarely spoke in character. Thank you. I didn't realize this was up. I got this mini from Hero Forge, and this was my first mini. You're welcome for the way that my nail polish looks. I got this was our first Hero Forge mini, and it was like $30. And I was like, this is really expensive. I don't want this to be an expensive hobby. Eric was going to paint it, but I know, joke's on me. Eric was going to paint it, but to be honest, as a person, I very much like, I don't want my sauce on top of my dish. I want it on the side so that I can have it without the sauce if I choose, or I can dip it. So I loved this mini so much, and it felt so expensive and special that I didn't want it to be painted in case it looked bad, which was not about Eric's skills.
This was at the start.
It was at the start. Eric hadn't been painting very long, and also I kind of liked having her this color on the table, and I got a little pumpkin on it because I think pumpkins are adorable. Yeah,
and Hero Forge is great, but Hero Forge Steel is awful to paint.
Yeah, it's super like gritty and textured, kind of like my fingernails. So
it's super good, customizable. Love Hero Forge, but painting Hero Forge Steel, I would not recommend it as a mini to paint.
Yeah. So for all of those reasons, this is how she was. But yes, she collected one tooth from each of the kills that she had, which was, I know a lot of people do that. I was new, forgive me, but I stand by it. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, you can just leave it on the...
Oh, sure.
Because we'll switch back.
So, yes, we switched... She grabbed a tooth from each of her kills, and our DM made opportunities for us to find cool teeth or unique teeth or metal teeth. I made a tooth necklace out of plastic teeth. At one point, someone who we play with, I had said, like, it's hard to find a tooth necklace online, and he very casually, without batting an eye, said, I can get you a bag of teeth. And it was one of the creepiest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yep.
He's a delight. So... Yeah, the DM also had at one point like a champion fight, and I lost, and whoever we were fighting took my tooth necklace. So it was a very like humbling, awful moment of this religious figure who was an orphan and like just had some level of pride for the things that she had accomplished, and all of that was gone. So
what? Your first real D&D character was an orphan?
Okay, I rolled on the table for that.
You did.
I was adopted. I wasn't like an orphan.
Yeah, you were adopted by your clan.
Correct, but not of humans. So I was the only half orc.
Real quick, we've got some building up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're married. 2017. Yeah. Grumpy old man. Yes, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are way over 21.
Yep.
And that is absolutely not apple juice. It is bourbon. Not my Buffalo Trace, not my best stuff. The necklace, I did the same thing, and I have my character. Now Hero Forge has added so many more customizations. Oh my god, yes. Hero Forge is just exploding with new stuff. The customizable poses alone, game changer. 3D printed color, crazy.
Yeah.
They look really cool. I haven't ordered one. I did the Kickstarter. So I've got like some coupons for like 2 or 3, like vouchers.
There you go.
But I haven't done them yet because we don't play that often anymore. So with AL, I was burning through characters constantly.
Absolutely.
Haven't and won't paint my minis. Yeah.
The rest of them that I'll talk about today are painted. I very much prefer it, and I mentioned this before, for Eric to paint them at this point because I don't have expectations going in, so we can pick out a mini that feels right, looks good, and then I just say like, okay, go ahead and paint it, and whatever he hands me is fantastic. There's no like preconceived idea in my head of like, oh, I really want it to look immaculate. Just whatever he presents is like, awesome. I didn't have to do this. I love it. This is great.
Yeah. Look at my Tau army. That's from Warhammer. Wanted my painted mini. They'd come already painted. Well, you can get them painted, pre-painted.
Yeah.
And with Hero Forge now they can come pre-made, pre-painted.
Yeah. And Eric really enjoys painting, so I obviously. So
yeah, I'm afraid I've fallen into the contrast paints trap.
And I tease him for that all the time.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to go in a similar vein, and I'm going to start off with my first. They're camouflage for great and sad planets. Yeah, well, I don't know anything about Warhammer, for the record. Warhammer talk is welcome, but I don't know anything about it. You're both doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to try painting at some point, but I need a good space for it and try to save for. Well, if we ever get back to playing IRL, we'll have another painting.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so same campaign. First real character. I tried an AL game for my very first game with a dwarf champion fighter. But our first actual campaign, I came in hot with Snap Shimmer Shell. Look at this guy. Tortle Wizard. Mm-hmm. So we started right after Xanathars came out. And I thought playing Tortle was cool. And I didn't know a lot about it, but I saw, you can have 17 AC and not have to worry about that. And I read that was a good thing. Snaps. Yeah. Snap Shimmer Shell. He's here with Flaps. Mm-hmm. Flaps the familiar. He was an owl, but we themed him as a pterodactyl. I haven't done the Snaps voice in a long time. Mm-hmm. So Swizzle, let me know if this is pretty close. I think it is.
Sounds right to me.
So Divination Wizard. Loved it. So awesome. Divination Wizard. I need to play some more again so I can play. Pretty spot on. Thank you. And so this is also Hero Forge steel, and this is, I think, the best Hero Forge I've ever painted. He would carve his spells onto his shell and onto his plastron.
Oh,
the front of a turtle is called the plastron.
Dropping knowledge.
Yep. Yeah. And so you just sit back and shoot stuff. Mind Spike was my go-to. Mm-hmm. That was a new spell at the time. It was really cool. I don't know. So after our campaign ended with that, I continued playing him with Adventurers League and using DM rewards to boost him up. And so he got all the way up to level 20. And this was my very first character that got all the way to level 20. And I felt it was really appropriate. And my first character, my first real series character, be the first one that goes all the way to 20. So it worked out. But I mean, like any level 20 game, you only play a couple at level 20. And by the time he was level 20, that was kind of when I was getting tired of AL stuff. So, but we were at a convention.
I forgot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were hiding it. We were at a convention. The one in PAX South.
PAX Southwest?
The one in San Antonio or something. And there was a thing where if your characters, it was an AL, Adventurers League thing. If your characters got married, they got like a super boost. I forget what, I think this was like season 7, 8. And so Tomfa and Snaps got married. We hated it. We thought it was the cheesiest thing in the world. Super cheesy.
People can and should do whatever they want, but that's just not really our jam. Like planning a dream wedding for my D&D characters. No, I was in it for the perks. We were both in it for the perks.
Yeah. So we got the ritual spell, the ceremony spell where you get an extra AC or whatever. We got that. But you also got like +2 to a stat. Which, so it was like, well, for +2 con or whatever, sure.
Yeah.
So I think I've always been really happy with this mini.
Yeah.
I think the colors are bold. And it's not like super high quality, I guess, but
it looks fantastic. Especially that's the same material that I was so worried about Tomfa being painted in, and yours turned out really, really, really great. Especially at the time with it being one of the first ones you painted that looked good. It was extremely impressive, and even now I think that one really holds up.
Yeah, same pose.
Yeah, well, it was limited.
And at the time, they didn't have turtle people Hero Forge options. So this is like Dragonborn, basically. But that's why I went with the big cloak to disguise it. So Snap Shimmershell is one of my all-time favorite characters. And honestly, probably my number one favorite. I don't know what order I put these in. I don't think they're in any order.
No, just some favorites.
Yeah. All right, so Snap Shimmershell.
I have one thing to add, and I tried to find a picture of it, but I couldn't. Early on when we were playing Snaps, a little baby squishy guy got knocked out rather. And so he was playing on his iPad, and so when it came to him and he had to do his death save, he turned his iPad around to the table, and it was like a photo of a dead turtle just on its back. It was really one of the funniest things that's ever happened.
Also, I'll admit it, so we were new, and I was like, oh, wow, it'd be cool to have a shield.
Oh.
Everybody wants to have a shield. So at first, I multi-classed, and we were like level 5 or something. And I multi-classed and took a level of cleric so I could get shield. But then broke Adventurers League rules and undid it because I didn't like it. It seemed like it was a betrayal of the character. He's a wizard. Yeah. And it was too metagamey. So I figured I'd rather break the AL rules for our small little campaign that nobody's going to even know about. But I remember the DM was like, sounds like somebody respect their character after level 5.
Well, good on them for paying attention.
Can we say it? Why aren't we saying his name? I want to give a shout out to Gabe. Thanks, Gabe.
I appreciate it. Got me to keep playing.
Yeah. Our first DM.
Always a fun game.
Absolutely.
Always.
Very lively. Way more than I am as a
good
DM.
Energy, good character voices.
Yeah.
And kept it a welcoming table.
He was there to have fun.
Yes.
And it showed.
Yeah.
All right. What's up?
So next is a character I didn't get to play all that often because when we were playing Adventurers League, we switched up characters so much, and that's actually what I didn't like about it. The character creation process is not my favorite part of the game. I just want to sit down at a table, know my character well, know my spells, and when you switch up every week, carrying like a tote bag full of character sheets and minis and having to kind of flip through and figure out what I'm doing today isn't my favorite way to play. Especially when we were at a game store, you didn't know who you were going to be playing with. I'm an anxious person generally, so having to feel like I didn't know everything every time something came to me, it just wasn't a good situation. That said, one of my favorite characters that we only played till level 6, so not very long, was Geki with the good frills, a reference to Becky with the good hair, which was timely. She was a lizard or a dragonborn.
No, lizard folk.
She was lizard folk. Okay, yep. Lizard folk barbarian. She was a librarian, the librarian barbarian. And so she was super smart. That was kind of part of her, not tragic hero or set myself up for failure, but she was very intelligent despite being this giant beefy person. We boosted her intelligence to kind of add interest to her storyline so she wasn't just a giant meat shield. Speaking of, look at the freehand work on this shield. A G for Geki. Yeah,
that was another one of the first generation minis.
Exactly. But a great job. And she's giant and beefy. Again, I like to play characters who don't look like me, aren't like me. And so this big, bulky barbarian, she was the first barbarian I ever played, and just a delight, especially coming from Tomfa, who I played so often as a cleric. So she had spells to balance with her melee attacks and things like that. But just to straight, now I'm going to hit it. It's very comforting to just know that every turn you're going to hit something. You might rage, you might not, but you're just going to hit it.
And your AC was bonkers because you're using a shield.
Yeah.
As a barbarian.
She was fun. And Eric did a great job.
More people mean lovable lizard
I
folks.
completely agree with you, Britt. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and this mini is like huge. Like it's very big.
Yes.
Trying not to use a size category name.
Yeah.
Huge, large.
Yeah.
It's big.
Sizable. Sorry, still getting used to this. Whee!
Game on. Welcome to the correct account. Yeah. I don't know. Geki, I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
You started out. You were like a guard, or you were an actual librarian,
Mm-hmm.
and you had the not the researcher background, but I forget which one it was.
This isn't my job.
Oh, luckily I pulled up all the character sheets.
You did. I wouldn't know where to find it.
Play on D&D Beyond, so it's all handy.
It's a little bit difficult to tell in the video, but I can see here he did a really great job making this sword look like bone because she has, as a lizard folk, she has that feat where she can craft her own weapons. I don't know if that applies here.
No, it's just racial. It's just part of her.
Oh.
It's not feet. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But yeah, that was definitely a bone sword.
And it's a really nice effect without being too, like, it's not bloody or...
Cloistered Scholar.
That sounds familiar.
Yes.
I've heard those words before.
Yeah. No, Geki was great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I want to do a quick switch this back. So Tim Fry. I've got 2 shout outs here for Tim Fry. One, if you don't know, Tim Fry is my dad. And he's a super cool woodworker guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to timsturnings.com, you can check out some of his turnings, his lathe-made goods. So like bowls and the paint handles that we use for painting. Put a little bit of tack on there and then just paint. Super great. timsturnings.com. Not a sponsor. But he recently sent me 2 things. One, I'm not going to show right now, but 2, check this out. He worked with Pal to Kristen. Welcome. I made it. What a gorgeous color on the lizard folk. Yeah.
It was really great.
So this is like some resin stuff, acrylic. Yeah, there we go. FryMinis. That's the orange and the blue. Look at that. Well, what is this?
Oak.
This one's oak.
No.
No, I thought the big one was oak.
It is. Maple.
Maple? Is this maple? Super duper cool. I'm gonna find a place for it. Hickory. Old hickory.
Old
That's right.
hickory. Yeah.
So thank you, Dad. Thank you, Tim Fry. Thank you, timsturnings.com. Super duper neat.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And if anybody wants one made, $2,000 is yours.
Starting price.
Starting price.
Plus shipping.
I kind of want your logo to be a bag of fry. What do you think the logo is, buddy?
It's a fry container.
It's a fry cup. And then these are like the French fries. Game on.
But you knew that. You were just joking.
Yeah, he's just joking. Okay, so Tim. All right, game on. I don't know what kind of fries you're eating, brah.
It's absolutely a fry cup.
That's a Yahtzee cup.
It's a fry cup with paintbrush French fries and a 20-sided die in it because exactly.
Jameson with the.
Hey, Jameson.
Yeah. All right. Tim Fry, def a medium fry thing. Def med fry. Second part. Wizard. One time. We got my parents. This is obviously pre-COVID.
Yeah.
They came down here from Michigan to Texas. They visited. Yep. And we played D&D. We played a very stripped down homemade version of D&D that I feel like I should put on DM's Guild because I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah, we've played it since and it's been really helpful.
Yeah, it was. Everything was basically you roll a D20 and whatever. Super simple. And so we made some character sheets and everybody got to pick which character they made. And my dad played a wizard. And he was very haughty.
Oh.
I don't know. How would you describe him?
I don't know. I was just going to say grumpy. That's
Yeah,
the word I
grumpy.
got.
How would you do his voice?
I wouldn't.
Oh, you never did Geki's voice?
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. But it was a super blast. And my mom played a character too. And they both had fun with the voices. And it was super great. And if you have an opportunity to play D&D with your family that might not play other games, I'd recommend it. It's super fun. You're not gonna have like a serious campaign or anything, but just like a little one shot, write a very basic adventure. I do need to make that into a.
It's a good idea, especially because it's so difficult to explain what D&D is, without all of our references to like, so it's a bunch of nerds sitting in a place that smells bad. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. And B, like, well, you sit at a table and you play and you pretend. And like, there's no winning or losing. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
So to be able to have a very, like Eric said, he stripped down the game so well and made it just a couple of dice. You still had that experience of it, but it wasn't complicated. There weren't rules, and having a very thorough DM who can guide people through made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you could do you do a little attack with your sword and do 1 damage, or do you do magic missile and do 2 damage at range? Like, and then Goblin had like 4 hit points.
Yeah,
like super duper basic kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I will stay tuned for a video on bare bones D&D.
That's a good idea.
We got some comments. Had a great time. Grumpy, yes. Wait, so does D&D run in your family? I wish. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of cool things run in the Fry bloodline.
Sure.
I don't know what they are.
Flat feet. Michigan sensibilities.
Thick hair. Inferior beardage, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Dad. I know your beard's better than mine, but
no. To answer your question, D&D does not run in Eric's family. He's the first person to play it, and I'm the only person to play it in my family as well. Mm-hmm. But just when his parents were here, he forced them to play, and It was really fun. And since the pandemic started, when we were all like, oh, let's Google Meet to like hang out and pass the time because we're all locked in the house, like when it was still novel, Eric hosted games for 2 groups of my friends who had never played before and were often like, I don't understand how you spend your time. So being able to do that online, super simplified, it made it really great. And running that pared down of a campaign, to your point, Jameson, I still lose track of the rules. Absolutely. So being able to really, really strip it back and not worry about AL or 5D or any of that stuff. 5E, sorry. Yeah. Thinking about cameras. Anyway, it was helpful.
Yeah. Oh, from Veep. Definitely want Bare Bones to convert for elementary school. Yes, this would be great.
Oh, yeah.
This would be great for that. I know other people have done it, and I think there are actual books about like versions, but I think my version was pretty solid.
It was solid. Your mom also took us like a real turn and used some poison mushrooms that you had set as a trap to basically like poison a guard and get him drunk. Like your mom was super creative with her role playing.
Yes. And
your grandma is always hilarious, so it's a good time.
Yeah, but my dad got, I think, most into character.
Yes.
I think he gets the in-character award.
Yep.
Okay. My next one's going to be kind of quick. I'm clicking around. Where are we at? There we go. All right. Sorry. I think it could be fun for PCs and game to play a stripped down version inside the game to satisfy the nerves and yes. Need
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that'll happen in the future.
What have you done? No, I love that.
All right. This is Thane Edgelord. Conquest Paladin. He was my most over-the-top evil character. I played him for like 2 AL games ever.
Thank God.
But his voice was fun to do, and he would just grumble at people. Thane Edgelord. I don't know. I really only played him for a couple games, but it was fun to be kind of silly. How do you feel about edgy characters?
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people show up with edgy characters when they're new because, and this isn't like hateful or anything, but they think, oh, wow, this is easy drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, my character's an orphan. Oh, they're a hired assassin. Oh, something like that. Like I think that's okay to do.
Yeah.
because that gives you a direct, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Sure.
So I think there's real value in that. But if you're doing that for your 4th character in a row, that's where I think it starts to be like, okay, let's expand our view.
I would agree with that.
Hi, Eric's dad. Yeah. 100% agree about beginners having edgy characters. My first RPing character in general, definitely edgy. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's a problem with it. It's just if that's all you do, I think is where it gets old.
I think that contributes as well to like thinking that you're the hero at the table as opposed to one of a group at the table. And that's what gets really annoying when you have to force a story and everything instead of making a moment better by adding some character flavor to it. Finding that balance is really tough. And especially as a new player, not sitting down with a bunch of people you don't know who won't necessarily play as a team, that can be really, really challenging. So completely agree. A lot of benefits. Everybody steps in with a very thought out, kind of maybe overdone character instead of letting it come naturally through the story.
Yeah. You're new to the game. You don't know how it's going to work out.
AA meeting for the edgy character syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. 4th in a row. Yes, it's time to have a little bit of an intervention.
Yeah. If you're playing 4 drow assassins in a row, maybe.
I'm thinking about the people who get stuck at a table with you because that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go off on the side. Oh, I'm gonna do the assassination quest. Oh, everybody stay back.
I'm gonna Leroy Jenkins. Yeah.
DM, give me 2 hours of dedicated one-on-one time for this 4-hour session.
Yeah.
Every week in a row.
Yeah. It's tiring.
Like everybody gets to turn in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I think people overblow edgy characters. Like make it a bigger deal.
Sure.
When it's a new character. When it's a new player.
New
player. I don't know. That's my thought.
Great. Moving on. The next character I want to talk about is another of the greats, I guess I'll say. So this is Madame Truffaut. Eric painted her and did a very good job, although I will say her eye makeup is a little bit more dramatic than I would have liked. She was themed after Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, although after probably the 3rd session, I couldn't keep up with the accent anymore because what even is her accent? But she was a warlock, so you know that she just Eldritch Blasted everything in sight, and it was awesome. When she got her 3rd Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, you're throwing up Hex.
Yep.
Which we enhanced.
Yes, you did.
I did a video. I'm actually going to do another video. Beauty and Grace. Yes.
She is.
Then this mini actually is a modification. She actually, the real mini, the Reaper, has a staff. But I snipped it off and glued a dagger on.
Yes, she was a Yanti, so she's poison immune as a Yanti. So she did a lot of poison attacks. So it might be hard to see, but there's some green poison on her dagger here. It was another modification, in fact, because like so many Reaper minis, she had an incredibly low cut dress. So Eric painted a high neck collar on her because women are more than breasts. So
True.
He did a great job painting the mini, but I loved playing her. She was our Sunday campaign that we played for, I think, more than a year. That was just a lot of fun, a lot of character building. I didn't go in with very much other than she was like a fake aristocrat, but actually just like a half snake lady, and she didn't like anybody, and she was haughty and exhausting, and Eric built out a manor for our characters, and it was very important to me that she had the biggest room, and she had a pet snake named Snaky because we're very creative, and the house we called Snaky's Manor, and we had a boat for a while that was beautifully named Snaky's To Go, not even my idea. So that kind of like ridiculous flavor, again, I think is what makes a character so fun.
And fun DM tip, if you want to throw a little spice into your character to make it feel like they actually live in the world, find something that you can fit into kind of like random loot tables. So when the ship crashed carrying... Here, let me switch back. So when the ship crashed that was carrying them all to the island, I would mix in... Julie built up a list of fancy things. That
Her
would be
trunks.
her trunks. So like her luggage. And then different garments and things that would be in there, and perfumes or makeup.
She had a cosmetics case, several trunks, steamer trunks dedicated exclusively to wigs, short wigs, medium wigs, long wigs, winter wear, boots, garments.
Yeah.
After dinner dresses. Yes.
So then I would spread those throughout random. Sometimes they might just be walking along and then, oh, there's one sticking out of the sand. Other times maybe a goblin found a fancy dress and is wearing it or something. I don't know.
I forgot about that. I loved that. And you're right. Snaky is the only person she loved. Snaky was Snaky an owl flavored?
No. Snaky was a full on. So we gave extended options for Find Familiar. So it was an actual flying snake.
Okay.
But you actually eventually went back to the chain. So you could have enhanced familiar options, and it became an imp that was flavored as a snake.
Got it. I just remember flavoring and flyby and whatever that was.
Yeah, and we gave it flyby. It was like a little boost.
Homebrew is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters. I mean, loved Tomfa, absolutely loved Madame Truffaut. Had the best time really solidifying our group of players around that campaign. Playing every Sunday with a group of people you like, love, enjoy being around. It made the campaign worthwhile, and I loved playing her.
I believe the luggage retrieval was Julie's idea that she needs to find it. Whoa! Thank you. Thank you. This is the first one. DC Artificer, thank you very much. Supporting the channel. If anybody doesn't know, with this new setup, you can support the channel at streamlabs.com/FryMinis. Thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you.
So I'm over the moon.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that at all.
And happy holidays to you.
And happy holidays. Look at it. Shows up on the screen.
Wow.
I don't know. This is pretty cool. Thank you. DC Artificer, everybody. Also, yeah. So eventually, once we have like thousands of people just dropping $1,000 donations just nonstop.
Fill up the screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, please consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/FryMinis. You can subscribe basically on there as little as $1 a month. You can help out the channel. I reinvest that all into equipment, into minis, all kinds of cool stuff like that. It's Patreon.com/FryMinis. And if you do at least a $10 tier, you can get your name in the videos. And if you go higher, I'll do an audio shout out and give you all cool stuff. You go all the way up, you get a free mini in the mail.
Hey.
Top tier. Patreon.com/FryMinis. Thank you, DC Artificer.
Thank you.
I suggest the $100 tier. I believe you can pay more if you want. So I like the cut of your jib.
Wow. I think the luggage retrieval was that I wanted a place to be able to have all of my things, because before we started this campaign, we had started in Waterdeep or something.
Yeah, we did Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
And so she was already had collected her things, and it wasn't like the start of the campaign that she wasn't all that fleshed out yet. So being able to say she needed a place to store her wigs and her costumes and her pajamas and her vests and her brooches. I think it came to that, and when Eric told me I couldn't take all that stuff with me because we weren't going to have a manor for a while anyway, I was pissed, and then we compromised with this. Yeah. So
my big plans eventually to do a full video series on this campaign that we're talking about. Sunday Adventure people.
I'm eager to see it.
Yeah. So we started with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and of course, if you don't know, that runs from levels 1 to 5, and that was Adventurers League, and that's when we were like, I think we're done with Adventurers League. Let's do homebrew stuff. Mm-hmm. And Ghost of Saltmarsh came out at about that same time, so I did a whole homebrew campaign, and that's our. I've been in several amazing campaigns, but that one I think will always be like my most sacred campaign, because it was my first real big homebrew thing. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know where I'm going with that. So So
I'm on the journey.
So we went into that, and so it was very, very loosely based on Saltmarsh stuff. 99% of it was homebrew. So the DM tip there. Don't be afraid to ask your players for like a reset. Like I didn't want them to start at level 5. We wanted to, so we could start it fresh, and that way we could meet kind of the stuff at the start of the book, which started at level 1. So we just be like, hey, kind of like how in a video game like World of Warcraft, where things will do a level squish at the start. Think of it like that. So everybody started back at level 1. That gives everybody a chance to kind of respec their characters if they want, redo things. But it's still the same like spiritual character. So it's the same Madame Truffaut, even though some of the other players like changed their whole class, which is totally fine.
Sure.
But it's the same character, like canonically kind of thing. So like same memories type stuff. And I think that was really cool, really good, easy way to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. I loved it. I thought that was really fun.
It was great. And it was such a transition for us from the store, getting a table, dudes making you feel uncomfortable every time you got up to go to the bathroom, weird smells, awful, to just doing that at our house made it so much easier. Having a consistent time, consistent group of people, consistent location.
Yes.
It felt great. Plus, one time the power went out and we got to play by candlelight. So
yeah.
That was kind of dramatic.
That was super fun. It was a little scary.
Yeah.
Because it was a hailstorm and it actually took a chunk out of our siding.
Yeah, well.
But otherwise, it was fun. And just to be clear, Adventures League, I think, is great.
Sure.
It's like you go there and to meet people. If you don't know people that you can play with, go play Adventures League. Get to know some people that you like. Spin off, make your own campaign. If you can, take it to your house. Get out of the store. It gives you some options, but still buy stuff from local stores, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, always want to support local business, especially right now. I don't know.
Great.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry for the rambles. And I did get lost.
Looking forward to being able to play in person again.
Very much looking forward to that. Plus, that was a good reason for us to keep the house clean.
Yeah.
People coming over every week.
Yep.
Had to keep it clean.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Up next, this was not a super long-term character, but I did get quite a few games. Oh yeah, this is man. You know, he's a berserker, or not a berserker. He's a barbarian. Yeah, he's from up north. This is my voice I could do. It's not super great. I haven't done it in a long time, but it's supposed to be kind of like a Minnesotan.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Youper.
Yep.
Don't call him a Youper, though. But I don't know. One of the things I liked, like a barbarian, pretty straightforward character, right? Like not mechanically very complicated, but it's more about the character, and that's what the stats
Gecky.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Gecky, that kind of thing. If you create a strong character, that's what matters. I remember, man. I will always remember man because he was so much fun doing that voice, being like a nice guy, like kind of a doofus.
A himbo?
A himbo, yes. A full on himbo. But I think I think he started as a totem warrior, and then I switched him over to the elemental one. I forget the name of it, where he had like the auras. Mm. So, but that's the point. That stuff, it doesn't matter. But I remember man. He was half orc. Started out as half orc, so he was raised by or adopted. I don't know, whatever. Cool. So that's my next pick. Short one. I talk too much.
All right. Up next is another character from AL who I didn't get to play all that much. But her name was Fleur, and she was a southern bayou swamp turtle was kind of her thing. She was a druid, and I wanted her to just be like disgusting. So we flavored, just like for Tampa as a storm cleric, we flavored her for thunder and lightning at every opportunity. With Fleur, it was just anything kind of disgusting. So fog cloud was just like a gross fart. But it wasn't all potty humor. She also did she belched out bugs.
Oh yeah.
Bug swarm or whatever that is.
Swarm of
insect
swarm.
Yeah. But I wanted those to come out of her mouth because I thought that was funny. And I don't really remember her voice, but
oh yeah.
yeah, she talked like a grandma, but less British than I'm doing now.
She had, I think, a little bit of like 1920s in it.
Yeah, she was squeaky. Not quite like, say, Siri, want to take me to the show? But like kind of squeaky, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was a lot of fun. We didn't get to play her very often. I think she may have dropped eggs wherever she went.
Yeah, if she got scared, she would squeeze out an egg.
Or a clutch of eggs.
Yeah. You see those toenails, though.
She did.
Oh, look, the Swiss, yeah.
Yes, her red painted nails. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm doing my best here. But yeah, I loved playing her. Didn't get to play her all that often, but just like a swamp druid being kind of gross. And I think there's a lot to be said for a druid character who's one with nature and drinks kombucha and like loves flowers and wants to protect everything. And that's awesome. That just wasn't who Fleur was. She wanted to live in the swamp and kind of not Shrek-like, but more Shrek than like a fairy princess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, an opportunity to just be silly, have a little bit of a wacky voice that didn't take over the table, wasn't shy, wasn't quiet.
Now, do you remember any particular stories with Fleur?
I honestly don't, but I bet you're going to tell me one.
You don't remember anything with a dragon?
No.
With a black dragon?
That wasn't Fleur.
Are you sure?
It was... She wouldn't have had Acid Arrow.
Oh, yeah, she got it as a druid of the swamp, as a druid of the land swamp. It was Fleur.
I'm not talking about that right now.
What's up, Overboard? Hey, man. So, here's the thing. So, Julie didn't know. She was new.
Let me tell it then.
Okay.
So, I was really excited to be playing, and I had Melf's Acid Arrow, and this dragon came down and attacked us, and I got a crit, which when... Like, crits are always exciting, but when you're a new player and it's like the 10th time you've ever critted ever, like, so excited, started to roll my damage and, like, was so excited. And I just felt our DM, the sweetest person in the whole wide world, just like, this black dragon is immune to acid damage. So I'm sorry, but your crit doesn't matter. Sweetest, nicest thing in the whole wide world. But I felt so stupid because I felt like I was swinging at something and like super jazzed, and everyone at the table was just like watching a car crash happen. So that was an unpleasant moment for me, made as easy as possible by a very generous DM and a nice table of people.
Not me. It was not me.
It wasn't Eric at all. But that's one of the embarrassment sears things into my brain. So I will never forget that black dragons are acid dragons, therefore immune to acid.
Yeah, and so I think it was okay that happened because your character wouldn't necessarily know that.
That's exactly. You can't metagame if you don't know shit about the game.
And it wasn't like a planned thing where you're like, okay, well, if there's a dragon over there, he hasn't seen any of that. I'm going to do this, you do that kind of thing where somebody else could speak up.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the middle of combat, and you're like, whew.
Yeah,
and it was a cool move, and it was great.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, at least it wasn't a yellow dragon.
We had a very lovely campaign, and we had different dragon cultists of different colors, and the one color that didn't exist was yellow. So as we were trying to make a deception check, someone was like, oh, we're from the yellow dragons, but there weren't any yellow dragons. We'd never encountered one before. It was just, it was beautiful.
Well, because we're like, oh, they're chromatic.
Oh.
You've got green, we've got white, we've seen a blue one.
Yeah.
So, like, yellow, it's a primary color. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, we called ourselves the special team, like special forces.
No, special team. Just special team.
Yeah, they called us in when they wanted something to go horribly awry. We did awesome. It was so fun. That
Overboard says that it is really hard for DMs to let players know they do no damage. Yeah.
Totally.
But, yeah. I think it was the right call to let it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just as a new player, as the only woman at the table, as someone who had made such a big deal out of like, I'm gonna do so much damage, you're welcome, party. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the things that I remember deep in the back of my brain. That's all.
All right. So second to last. We're each doing 5, by the way.
Yeah.
So that was your fourth, and this is my fourth. So I want to do a little disclaimer. This was a recent during COVID character that was only ever played on Roll20. So I don't have an actual mini specifically for that. All these other minis that we've looked at are specific for those characters, painted for that character, designed for that character. This one is one that I was like, oh, that'll work for this. I mean, there are yellow dragons, but not for a few editions. Yeah, sure. Gem dragon. You know there are gem dragons?
No.
Like sapphire dragons. I know. There's a sapphire dragon mini. It's one of the big ones, and I want to get it.
No.
I know. We never use it. There was an Amazon sale. It was only like $70. It was on sale for $30.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Well, you shop local anyway, so.
I don't always shop local. I try to shop.
I know.
If it wasn't, I used to buy all my bricks at the store.
I remember.
I feel guilty every time I buy a brick that's not from the store.
Sure.
True story.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Provel Camembert. He started out as a polearm master hexblade warlock.
It's a mouthful.
That was how he started, and he was like a kind of like a fraud kind of guy. And this is actually an online version of Horde of the Dragon Queen because we never actually finished it. Provel, yeah. So this is from Kristen's campaign. But then the Unearthed Arcana, so like playtest content came out where there was a new kind of warlock called Undead Warlock. And it was super cool. And you could take on like an undead appearance. And you had like a super Eldritch Blast that could do necrotic damage and all sorts of cool stuff. And he was already wearing red and gold because he thought it was real fancy. One of the other players in the campaign was like his manservant. The other player's idea, to be fair. So this would be my closest to Provel Camembert. Unfortunately, after just like 2 sessions of playing him as this version, I dropped out because I'm a big old turd. And FryMinis stuff was taking up a little bit more of my time than I could dedicate to having another game going. But Provel Camembert, he had an awful French accent. I don't know. I wish I had more time with Provel. That's one of my biggest D&D regrets. I know. This is a Lich mini. You're not a turd. Thank you. All right. Okay, that's Provel. Julie, you're up for your last one.
My last one is hugely important to me. Her name is Boulder, and although I don't do accents very well, she had a New Zealand accent because I think they're cute and not too hard to do. And unlike my other characters, she wasn't big and beefy and mean. She asked a lot of questions. And I just really enjoyed playing her. So she was a Goliath, so like an ancestor of giants, and she liked to go big. So she had a bunch of runes. She's a
rune knight.
Thank you. She was a rune knight. So she had like she had a million little things that she could do, which was difficult to keep track of, especially because this was an online campaign for us. But in every combat, she could go big for a minute, so she would increase her size by 1 category.
Yeah, yep.
So we had, initially Eric painted this mini for her, which was quite lovely. She was a Snow Clan type person, and everything worked out great. But then a friend had a 3D printer, and so I designed, this was a pre-bought mini.
Shout out to Dane.
Thanks, Dane. So I designed a Hero Forge version of Boulder, which is now like what I think Boulder looks like. And Dane printed this for us. So you can tell that. Yeah.
So this is medium and then large.
Yeah. She's a BFD. And you can see the difference in the eye makeup here because Madame Truffaut had black around her eyes, and I suggested to Eric that maybe not doing black outlines would give them less of like a goth look. And so there's gray beige here, and it's a much softer look, especially because Boulder wasn't the type to wear makeup. That's just not her jam. So anyway, this is the Boulder that I think of, and also
sideways.
But then she's sideways.
She's taking a nap.
She
and what's
doesn't.
that cool sword?
I'm getting to it. Boulder was awesome. She got to level 20, and it was a homebrew campaign that was just delightful. And she's more recent for me than Tomfa, and she might be my very favorite character that I've ever played. She was awesome. The DM did a lot of story customization to make a great experience that was built around the characters and customizable, and really some cinematic moments that I've never had a DM really create before.
Excellent
Amazing.
DM.
Amazing.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't Eric. And so if it's Eric, I'll say it's Eric. I'm not going to like pretend to be fluffing somebody up who I'll just say, and Eric did a good job. Anyway, my sword had its own character and personality. So this is Balda, and she had a sword named Beacon. Beacon was a talking, not necessarily good sword, but every now and again the DM had a hand puppet version of a mouth that would just come out and start talking to us and give us some guidance, or give me some guidance, which, how cool. Just awesome.
Super cool.
And
Sentient
as an alive,
weapons.
yes. It could, Beacon could get bigger and convert into a polearm. At one point we made Beacon into a shovel because we had to dig something, and it was very undignified. He did not care for that.
No.
I loved this character. She had cool development throughout. She was like, had this rage inside of her, but she wanted to be peaceful and utterly serene at all times. And so she kind of went out adventuring to find a higher purpose. And it was cooler than it sounds, like very subtle. That wasn't just like what she was, but it contributed to her strength and athleticism and her just absolutely incredible.
This
and
is
then
my very first 3D printed mini.
Thus mine too.
Yeah.
So she could on her own go big, but with another person in our party who you'll learn about in a minute, she could go huge.
Brum, brum, brum.
So I have 3 different sized boulders, which is incredible. Same Hero Forge mini, different pose, because of course if she's going to be that huge, she's going to be in combat. And so boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. So plopping down.
Just incredible.
This huge boulder.
As her normal height, she's a medium creature. She was 7'6", so she doubled in size to be 15 feet tall. So she doubled in size to be 30 feet tall. And just like this 30-foot tall, sweet, Kiwi-inspired lady who obliterated everything. And she had 4 attacks toward the end, but when she was hasted, she had 5.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And she had action surge, and I had so many, I could knock things over because I was so huge, and so I would knock something over, which was so demoralizing for like Orcus himself.
Yeah, it was great.
And then making my attacks at advantage because it was prone, and having 3d8 plus some d6 plus some d4s depending on what size I was. Like I had so many dice every turn that I couldn't keep them in my hands, and it was incredible. She was a lot of fun. The storyline that the DM created was amazing. And Boulder's the best. I love Boulder. Or excuse me, Boulder. Again, I don't do accents very well. So that was my version of a New Zealand accent. Whether it was good or not, I can't say. But that's what I did.
No, that was great.
That's Boulder.
I love Boulder.
Me too.
All right. Oh my goodness, says Kristen. Oh, love that mini.
Me too!
Glorious says Swizz, and Daka Flocka Flame says Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas Eve, I guess, today.
Yeah, but Merry Christmas.
Merry early Christmas. We're gonna eat some short ribs tomorrow.
We are. Looking forward to it.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. My last pick. Same campaign again. Oh, wait. So, I started out, again, I'm that guy who always wants to switch characters.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a million character ideas. And that was one of the things I actually really liked about Adventures League, is you could just keep popping out new characters all the time. So you could always keep scratching that itch of like, ooh, that sounds cool. I want to try that.
I do not have that itch. That's anxiety for me.
But in a campaign, of course, you're going to get going with a character. But we were like 2 or 3 games into that campaign, and the Artificer was published in Eberron, And I thought, oh, wow, that sounds really cool. Normally, I'm more of a classic kind of fantasy person. I normally don't like steampunk kind of stuff, but it sounded cool. I wanted to give it a shot. I asked the DM, do you mind if I switch out characters? And it'll just like, I'm not asking to like have a story about the person. It's just like bloop bloop, hand wave kind of thing. He said yes, and on that day was born into this world.
God help us.
Foswap Fizzle Flop. So, Battlesmith Artificer, Mark of Making. So he's a human, and so he ended up being for most of the campaign. He had a hand crossbow, and then with the repeater infusion, he didn't need to worry about the ammo property, so he could use a shield with it, which was awesome. He had a sentinel shield. Loved it. And his Battlesmith pet, his Steel Defender, Ada, Artificial Dragon Draconic Automaton. So we homebrewed the crap out of this thing. The most recent in Tasha's, they did an up kind of like a revision to how it works, and it's a lot better now. But the original Eberron version of the Battlesmith pet, I think, is a little weak. So our DM was super gracious. We got to do some cool abilities. So medium size. And actually, I forgot to grab it. If you can grab it. So just like Boulder, we would get bigger. So we eventually did a thing where it could give itself basically kind of like enlarge. So it could go large. So I painted up multiple minis to match. So it was a draconic type shape. You can pick the shape. And eventually we gave it flight and all sorts of cool stuff through like using my character's feats to enhance its intelligence, stuff like that. All the way up to huge if it used its own enlarge and then I actually cast enlarge on it. Super cool. Loved Ada. Ada could carry stuff in her tummy. She was a good friend. We could ride her sometimes.
Mm-hmm. She had like a furnace in her belly, so she created light because as Boulder, I didn't have dark vision for a long time until I took the feat.
This is a edited mini. I forget what weapon he had, but it wasn't this crossbow. I took this crossbow from a different mini. Love the texture and color on Ada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ada's. I like these minis a lot.
Yeah. They turned out great.
They're gorgeous. I love the pattern on the wings and the metallic look on the scales.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So this one is this is WizKids. This is also WizKids, and then this was Reaper. And I gave it the base, the rim. I gave it kind of like a battery design was what I was going for, like copper and bronze to look like a
Energizer.
And Duracell.
Oh, copper top.
Copper top. I don't know.
It is
but
Duracell.
Foswap, super fun. He was. I tried to go chaotic good with him, so he wasn't like a bad guy.
No.
But he definitely had his own interests out there. His goal was to build the best possible robot. And one time, he maybe made a deal that he shouldn't have to get some ability, some like downtime days to spend on enhancing Ada. And maybe 20 levels later, I came back to bite him in the butt. But it was a lot of fun. And I think that shows how great that DM was.
Yeah.
And the voice.
Yeah.
Pro tip. If you make a character's voice, make it one that you can do for a while.
Yes.
Like talking like this is easy. You can do it no problem.
Yeah.
Well,
having to do a whole character based on Batman, tough.
Yeah.
Not even just sticking to the quotes, but like Tomfa wasn't always going to be a character of few words, but she became one because it was exhausting to keep up with like, I'm going to take out the dragon.
Exact same thing with Man. To do the one-liners. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's get some hot dish, yeah? Stuff like that. Like, that's fun. And if you're just doing like one session, great. But extending that.
Yeah. It got to be tough.
Yeah.
But that's actually, I will say that our party, especially with Tomfa, that group, did a really good job of committing to their voices and being free and being silly, and it wasn't that it was embarrassing to do Tomfa's voice, it was just that it was exhausting.
Yeah.
So
Physically.
yeah. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
commitment to characters and actually doing role play and making it fun, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. And I'd like to do an honorable mention for a character.
Please.
In that campaign, there were 3 players. And the other player, she was a turtle monk named Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
She had a flaming rolling pin, and she was a baker, and she was like, she just didn't care about you.
Yeah, she was like a sassy Southern grandma.
It
She was
was-
amazing.
Lulu was a 10 out of 10 character.
She was. Yeah.
That campaign was my favorite campaign I've ever played in.
Same. It was good.
Yeah. Excellent. Super cool. I don't know. All right. So I try to do voices for all my NPCs. It's very hard.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I...
Sometimes in that campaign, Eric would be speaking as Foswap, and our DM would have a silly character voice. And just because Eric in that campaign was like the most talkative, the most chaotic, it would just be him and the DM talking back and forth to each other in very ridiculous voices for like 5 minutes at a time. I could go pee, I could get a drink, whatever it needed to be. And it was just delightful to listen to.
Yeah.
So I love different voices for all NPCs. And yes, it's very, very hard. And so often they all just merge together and become like a murky voice. I know that happened with Eric with our Sunday campaign that got to be exhausting.
So one of my biggest hurdles as a DM is female NPCs. I want to have more women characters in the game, even if they're not player characters, but non-player characters. But I'm not good at doing voices of women that don't sound like a cartoon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the Mickey Mouse.
Also a man!
Yeah. I'm just not good at it.
Sure.
And I feel like that undercuts my female representation in game.
Yeah, it's hard not to do a voice that's different from your own if you feel like you're just leaning on stereotypes. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
I would rather DM just speak in their own voice for a woman than do something like this.
Exactly.
I'd rather punch myself in the throat than hear that.
Yeah. So typically what I'd resort to would be the character tells you that she's trying to rescue her husband from the dragon.
Sure.
Something like that. So that's where you're not speaking first person.
Yeah.
Not
a perfect solution. But
yeah. I would love if I could do it, the voice.
Yeah.
But and it's okay. You don't have to. It's okay.
You don't have to. I think it's also worth trying at a table that knows your intentions are good. Breaking that out at a nail table you've never met before could foster some weird, messed up stuff from your players. But
absolutely. I try to voice with my NPCs very hard. Yeah. Beautiful players must have been amused.
Players were very amused to hear just ridiculousness going back and forth. It was awesome.
It's difficult to do deep or masculine voices with such a high voice for me.
Two sides of the same coin. I hear you.
There are also voice modulators, says Kristen. But since I'm a gal, I don't know how well they work for male to female conversions.
I feel like a voice modulator at the table takes the fun out of it. I don't know. I've never played with one, but thinking about that makes me...
I think she maybe means more for online games.
Oh, sure.
Where you can like filter.
Of course.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And those are cool, but I feel like a lot of times they're kind of robotic. I don't know.
Every NPC you meet who's a woman happens to also be a robot.
yeah, online. Yeah, but I think that's a great tip that I would love to explore because I've never actually done that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so everybody, those are our top 10 favorite characters that we could think of at the moment. We've got many other ones that we really enjoy. And I'll say it again. One of my favorite things about AL, about Adventurers League, is that you do all these one-off things and you can just keep coming up with new characters all the time. Of course, I love campaigns. Of course, I love digging into characters. Of course, I love exploring them. But that's just a different road that you're traveling down than fast food characters.
I don't like fast food characters.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Voice mod online is okay. Yeah. Okay, so does anybody have any character they'd like to share? I know we've already talked about Grumbles the Old Man Wizard. Are you ready to wake up at 4 remembering one more favorite character?
I won't, but Eric might.
Yeah.
While you crowdsource, I'm going to take a quick break.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll be wrapping up in the not too distant future. So also, I'm going to plug my Instagram here real quick. All the minis that you saw here, I put all the high res pictures on Instagram. So Instagram.com/FryMinis. I built a little light box. I take the pictures in there. I post them on there. So you can go take a look if you ever want to look at anything up close, high res kind of thing. I don't know. I like it. My Instagram is how I started with all this stuff. At first, I misremember this, but as I understand it, when I started painting minis, Julie was like, I want to show some of my friends like what you're talking about when you say you paint minis. So I made it as like a place to as like a library, as a photo gallery kind of thing. And it just kept going. And it's at like over 1,800, which I know a big picture isn't a ton, but for me, it's great. I love posting on Instagram. I do every Tuesday and Thursday. I usually get over 100 likes on each one. And I know chasing likes isn't really going to do anything for anybody, but I like it. I like the support. I appreciate the appreciation. It's fun. So if you don't already follow on Instagram, Instagram.com/FryMinis. Thanks. All right. What kind of characters? Anybody have any cool characters I want to talk about while we're still here? On this great Christmas Eve of 2020, as the end of this year finally approaches. Cool. That's okay. So, again, big thank you to DC Artificer with that donation.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Super appreciate it. For reals. And a couple of you are already patrons. So thank you to all my patrons. Patreon.com/FryMinis. I've got a couple hundred minis unpainted. Yeah, well, me too. check out my mini organization and storage video on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. Couple hundred unpainted.
Yeah, it's like 800 unpainted.
Yeah, I know.
Jameson on drive. Okay.
Drive safe.
I'm going to do a shout out for Jameson's character, Bill.
Yeah.
So Bill, so that campaign that had Tomfa and Snaps in it, had Bill. And Bill was like a grumpy old mercenary. Jameson had more D&D experience than I think anybody else at the table besides maybe the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Bill. The Swizzle also played in that with a Redemption Paladin, which was super cool. And she stuck to that role play. Do or die.
Amazing.
Yeah. But Bill was not a good guy. He wasn't evil or anything. But if he had to like trip some kids to use them as a distraction to get away from some cultists, he would.
Yep.
And he wouldn't feel bad about it.
Nope. I admired that about Bill.
Yeah. And also, because we were new, Bill had Great Weapon Master and Polearm, I think. And maybe Sentinel eventually. But the idea that you could do so much damage every single turn.
Yeah.
And just stop things in their tracks.
Yes.
Just was mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. Learned a lot from that character.
Yeah.
Especially how one of the nicest people I've ever met in the world could roleplay someone who I hated but loved playing with. It was incredible.
Fazwa? Yeah, and then so the paladin was Amane.
Mm-hmm. I remember she was a gold dragonborn.
Uh-huh.
Or yellow, depending.
I think she was actually the one that was like, no, it's yellow. We support the yellow dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Millie, my gnome paladin. Yes. So Millie was in that Saltmarsh campaign. Millie, my gnome paladin, is one of my all-time faves. The fact that she was so sweet and good, but ended up looking so terrifying was a lot of fun. Yes. So Millie ended up with this like void short sword, like shadowy darkness blade. She had black and gold armor with a big dragon on it. I think she ended up with a dread helm also,
so,
with like
yeah.
glowing eye. Oh yeah, it was like the cold. So
We've got a picture of her over there, so I was trying to reference it.
Yeah. Millie was great.
Yeah.
And just like she said, she was super sweet,
Mhm.
little like friendly devotion paladin.
Yep.
Who ended up being super duper badass.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
The Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, and she had a whole stable of nicknames.
Yes.
Another DM tip: keep note of your players' achievements, kind of like a video game. So we use OneNote for tracking stuff. So I had a page that was just like nicknames they earned, like the Giant Slayer, the Dragon Slayer, or whatever, and then like big critical moments and things like that. Super cool. Everybody enjoys it, and it's a good look back. And speaking of look back, maybe this upcoming week's video will be all about calendars, time, and record keeping in your games with a free to download PDF.
Wow. I can't wait to watch it.
Sounds like a blast.
From the past.
All right. Ooh.
I don't know how to say that.
Ray Coral? Ray Coral, let me know if I'm not saying that right.
Yeah.
Ray Coral, my silver dragonborn shadow monk. Big monk fan over here, I see.
Yeah.
Who used to be an archaeologist, has become a wonderful character to RP. She's in a Curse of Strahd game. A shadow monk in a Curse of Strahd, which is like vampire stuff. Sounds like it'd be really interesting because I feel like there's no sunlight. So you could probably get away with doing that shadow to shadow teleport that a shadow monk has, like anytime.
That's awesome.
Can't wait to watch all the super fun noise. It's Rycoral, I think. Rye bread sounds like a really... I'm sorry.
Rye bread on a Corel plate. They're unbreakable.
Oh, true. Rycoral sounds super cool.
She does.
Thank you for sharing. Silver Dragonborn, too.
Yeah.
Silver's not a common one. Overboard. I made a great NPC that's following the party secretly that they met earlier. She's Lokatha, catfish person.
Yes.
He's so much fun. His voice is really hard, though. Look, do you want to talk about Lokatha?
No. Other than they're awesome. I just think that a fish person could be so fun. And again, like, what does a fish person's voice sound like? Probably like wet and blubbery. Yeah. And how do I do that? I'm not going to try it live. I played a Lokatha a couple times for an online game. I don't remember what she sounded like.
Blah, Eldritch Blast. Blah.
Yep. I'm playing a rogue right now for the first time, but he's charisma based. Ooh, a la Flynn Rider and not a stealth build. Leans more into deception and persuasion expertise.
Swashbuckler, great rogue. You can run up stuff, whack it, run away. Charisma, glub.
I'm just setting up an army to fight Ada. Don't worry.
Swashbuckler, super cool. I very briefly played a Swashbuckler. Sicaros Galambos.
Don't remember him.
Yeah, he's this guy right here, actually.
Gangster campaign.
Yeah, wait. Sicaros Galambos. Ba. Exthe. I don't know. Whatever. The Swashbuckler's cool. And multi-class is great with like so many things. Overboard has to get soaking wet every 4 hours. Yes. I think we ended up making a suit or something.
I thought we just hand waved it.
I think we just hand waved it too. Oh, we did. I had a special custom character creation route where if you like passed on certain things, like you could roll to get special character skill proficiencies from all the different things like in Xanathar's. And if you passed on one of those, you could get you could max out one of the rolls for your stat or something. But two people ended up being Lokatha, and they both passed.
I didn't start as a Lokatha. I started as something else, a character I was really excited to play. And as we've learned throughout the last hour and 20 minutes, I don't like creating characters all the time. I like to make one and stick with it. So I was very excited to have her. I think her name was...
2 seconds. Bye, Swizz.
Oh, bye.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for hanging out.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
All right.
I was playing her. Her name was Miley, a reference to Miley Cyrus, but spelled differently. And in our very first game, someone killed her.
Yeah, killed. Level 1 character.
Yeah. Killed, died, annihilated. So I had to create a whole new character, even though I have always said from the start that if Eric wants to kill one of my characters, I'll take a nap during our game time. I don't care. So I stuck with it because it was our first online campaign in March, April, and had to create a new character. So what was I going to do? I was going to create a Lakatha because you killed my character. I'm going to do whatever I want. And we had a Lakatha in the party, and I just wanted to be sisters.
Yeah, so they took a sacrifice to their like stat bumps to just get rid of the water requirement. All right. Soaking Wet, Glub Glub, 1920s gangster campaign.
Love that.
Yes, sounds super cool. Sorry to jump around on that.
Yeah.
Garrelin is a half-elf Bragan Da'arth. So that's the Drow group, like a faction from they're in Waterdeep Dragon Race. Very cool. Male only though. Yeah. May or not be playtest playtest subclass. Hello. Hook me up.
I'm responding to Lakatha, Sisters for Life. I don't know how to spell it either, and I don't care.
Psy Scout. So in some of the recent stuff, there have been a whole bunch of psychic kind of things. Sounds exciting. Okay. Overboard, Lakatha. He has mold earth to dig a hole, and he has magic item pours endless water. Decanter of endless water. Excellent way to work through that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very clever.
Yeah.
If you were in my game, I'd give you inspiration for that.
Enjoy dinner.
Oh, gotta go Chinese. Bye, Tim. Thank you, Dad.
Thanks.
Look, the Sisters for Life. Character death makes me sad.
Yeah. Character death makes me sad,
I want to be
too.
clear. This was in like a fighting pit, and you could go up to different people and fight them and like challenge them to like a gladiator fight. And the drow in the corner was like, "Hey, you don't want to fight me? I'll kill you. I'm way stronger than you." And you're like, "I don't care.
No,
I'm also a drow, half drow."
I don't remember that that's how it happened. It's a little fuzzy for me from the trauma, but let's just, headline it. Wife plays online campaign, husband DM kills her character the first time, knowing full well that she doesn't deal well with death, doesn't like creating new characters, and might not necessarily want to be playing this game anyway because she's threatened for a year now to just take a nap instead of playing this game. So
and also maybe somebody said, "Oh, well, guess what? You're level 1, so the exact same character shows up again." But you said, "No, I'll make a new one."
No, because I was pissed, and rightly so.
Nerf.
You're right.
I don't remember how it happened, but I'm on Julie's side.
Thank you. That's all I ask. I knew you would be sisters for life,
All right. So we're about hour and 25 minutes. All right. Anybody else have any cool characters they want to talk about? I'll give you just a second.
Jameson's on my side too. Bless you both.
Well, guess what? I kept detailed notes.
Who are you going to believe?
Check your Discord, Eric. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun,
Eric took notes from his side of the story.
Ooh. That's a cool picture of your puppy you sent me.
Super cute.
Bark, bark.
Start over.
I just got home. Start over.
If you hit the rewind button.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for hanging out.
Chatting, going back and forth. I think this was great. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. So this is our kind of end of year wrap up thing. So thank you again. Merry Christmas. I think Hanukkah's over.
Yes, it is.
Hope you had a nice holidays, whichever holiday. Happy New Year. I still have a FryMinis video out this Sunday because I'm a machine. No. Thank you again, DC Artificer, for the donation. Everybody else, if you're not already a patron, patreon.com/FryMinis. Please consider supporting the channel. Keeps us going with minis and stuff to do. Thank you all again.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Very much.
I'll see you later.